Good evening. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to discuss the instructions and the use of obtaining vital signs on a patient or a friend or a family. I'd first like to discuss the blood pressure cuff. A blood pressure cuff is a 21.5-inch long piece of material that is 5 inches wide. I have an actual blood pressure cuff with me, so it's easier so I can explain it. The blood pressure cuff, like I said, on the left arm, it has an arrow that points down to the actual artery which you will obtain the pulse from. To the right of that is an arrow for the right arm. The same thing for the pulse on the right side of your arm. A sphygmometer actually picks up through the mercury inside of this as you increase the bladder that is inside the blood pressure cuff to give you your numbers, which is your top number, your systolic, and your bottom number, which is diastolic. They run in increments of 2s, so they're going to be even numbers, such as 132/80. To increase the bladder that is inside the blood pressure cuff, you're going to use the bulb. This bulb compresses air for you to actually tighten up your arm, which then, when your heart is filling with blood, it's increasing it. When it's decreasing in blood, when the blood is exiting the heart, that's what you get your bottom number with. And to bleed it, there's a little bleeder on the side of it, so you can obtain those numbers. To listen to the pulses from the blood pressure, I have a stethoscope. The stethoscope is 29 inches long. This is a crucial piece of equipment that we use in the fire service and any type of medical field. These are your ears. These actually go inside of your ear canal so you can pick up sound. This is the bell which you place upon the artery. So when you're increasing the blood pressure cuff, you're going to place this on the inside of your arm, on either arm, whichever one you decide. And it's going to pick up the actual pulsating thud of your blood entering your heart, your chambers. Discussing a radial pulse. A radial pulse is on the radial side of your arms, located at your wrist, which is your thumb side, because the inside is your radial, the outside is your ulna. So when you're actually applying pressure to find the radial pulse, you're going to use 2 fingers. I'm going to use my left hand because I don't have a bracelet on my right. I'm going to use 2 fingers and apply it just below the thumb. And when I feel the thud, I'm going to count for a duration of 30 seconds. So each stud, you're going to have to multitask. So each stud for 30 seconds, and at the end of that 30 seconds, you're going to times it by 2, which will give you your pulse rate. Your resting pulse rate runs from 80 to 120 resting. The next, for the final stage of the vital signs that we discuss are your respiratory rate, us breathing. So each breath I take over a minute-long duration, at the end of that 60 seconds is what your respiratory rate will be. For an adult, we look for 12 to 20 respirations per minute. For a child, it's 15 to 30 respirations per minute. And for a newborn and infant, 25 to 50 respirations per minute. So my father's going to come up here, and he's going to be my volunteer while I demonstrate the proper use of the blood pressure cuff, the stethoscope, the pulse rate, and the respiratory rate. Please. I typically like to do it on the right side if I have the room. I like to do it on the right side if I have room. Roll up the sleeve. Since I'm using his right arm, the arrow is going to go down on the right side and increase around, wrap it around, and your gauge is going to sit on top like so. I'm going to apply my stethoscope. On the inside of the arm, I like to hold on to it. Make sure your bleeder's closed. And you're going to pump it up. I pump it up to typically 200. For me, that's a nice even number for me. So now I'm going to bleed it. So when I hear the first thump, which is 132, and the final thump, is 86. So my dad's blood pressure right now is 132/86, which is great. My next is going to be the pulse. My 2 fingers, I'm going to apply to the outside, the thumb side, and count for a duration of 30 seconds. For time being, we're going to say I counted 30 beats in 30 seconds. I'm going to times that by 2. So 30 times 2 is 60. So my father's pulse rate right now is 60 beats per minute. And his respiratory rate is the same. I'm going to watch his chest region expand, and it's going to come in. So each breath over 60 seconds is what we're looking for. And you can sit back down, Dad. Thank you. After reviewing this video, you should be able to understand the basics of obtaining a blood pressure, getting a radial pulse, and a respiratory rate. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this video helps you.